Mark chapter 1 verses 29 to 39. Christ took away our infirmities, and bore our diseases. On leaving the synagogue, Jesus entered the house of Simon and Andrew, with James and John. Simon's mother-in-law lay sick with a fever. They immediately told him about her. He approached, grasped her hand, and helped her up. Then the fever left her, and she waited on them. When it was evening, after sunset, they brought to him all who were ill or possessed by demons. The whole town was gathered at the door. He cured many who were sick with various diseases, and he drove out many demons, not permitting them to speak because they knew him. Rising very early before dawn, he left and went off to a deserted place, where he prayed. Peter and those who were with him pursued him, and on finding him said, "Everyone is looking for you." He told them, "Let us go on to the nearby villages, that I may preach there also. For this purpose have I come." So, he went into their synagogues, preaching and driving out demons throughout the whole of Galilee. Mark's Gospel begins with John the Baptist preparing the way for Jesus. Jesus is baptized by John in the Jordan River, and then Jesus immediately leaves for the desert, and Satan's temptations. There is about a year that transpires between Mark 1 verses 13 and 14. Mark then moves on to a time when Jesus chooses his disciples, then he is shown to teach with great authority, and then he casts out a demon from a man in the synagogue. In this reading about Peter's mother-in-law, Jesus confronts disease or illness. She is laying sick with a fever. The disciples immediately told him about her condition. Notice, they knew they couldn't help her with the fever, but had the faith and confidence that if anyone could help, it would be Jesus. This attitude should give us the confidence to first ask for God's help and guidance, before attempting to resolve the problem on our own. Jesus cures Peter's mother-in-law who is suffering with a high fever and, by evening word of the cure has spread, and the sick and demon-possessed, arrived at the house to seek their own healing. Often, we look everywhere else before turning to God. We often forget to thank God for His many blessings when harmony returns to our lives. All of our problem-solving strategies need to begin with a prayer. Many people who were brought to Jesus were too ill to make the trip on their own, so friends and family brought them. Who have you helped to bring to the Lord? A spouse, a child, or a friend? Why did the people wait until evening? Jesus had spoken at the synagogue on the Sabbath. According to Jewish tradition, a day begins at sunset. Sunset is defined as seeing 3 stars in the evening sky, and this observation marks the beginning of the next day. If the people had come before sunset, they would have broken the Sabbath laws. There are 3 important points in today's Gospel. First, Jesus cured Peter's mother-in-law of a physical illness. Second, because of this cure, other people with physical and emotional illnesses had the confidence and faith to ask Jesus for his help, and that faith led to their cures. Third, the next morning Jesus prayed to the Father, seeking God's help and guidance to preach to others. First, Scripture tells us that Jesus came to us with the authority of the Father and was able to cure all those who asked. Don't you think He can do the same for you? Second, shouldn't you also follow the others that seek cures for themselves and others by praying? Third, have you followed Jesus' example and turned to the Father in thanksgiving for the many graces He has bestowed on you? When Jesus was curing the people, there were 3 kinds of people there. First, the ill. Second, those providing the transportation for the loved ones to get to Peter's house, and third, people that merely watched. Are you bringing others to the Lord through your example or just watching His work?